Hey parents, this is Kate Chasman. This is our second video in our series around how our brain learns. So this video, we're going to talk about learning styles. So there was this scientist, educator guy way back when named Howard Gardner. And he came up with all these different learning styles that people have. And you can take their different quizzes and stuff on the internet. There's like one called VARK. There are a couple different ones that talk about the best way for each person is a little bit different in the way that they take in information and they can learn. Some people prefer to hear information. Some people prefer to be able to say information. Some people like to be able to see it. Some people like to kinesthetically or tactile like to manipulate the information with their hands or actually literally move their body to be able to learn something. So a huge thing to do to help your child when they're learning something new is to start to get an idea of the way that they seem to learn best, and B, play around with lots of different ways to learn something new. Because if you just keep going at it at the same kind of way, the same input, chances are that it's not gonna change their learning so much. But if we come at it in different ways, it makes it a little bit easier for them to learn. Hopefully this will help if you don't understand what I'm saying. So some people like to see it. That's the eye here, right? And this is also connected to kinesthetic, like movement, touching things. You might like to read things. You might like to see graphs. You might also like to see videos where people are moving, or you might actually like to move or manipulate the things yourself. A lot of kids love doing like hands-on projects, and they learn the best when they're hands-on instead of just sitting there hearing the information. Other kids prefer to hear information. They prefer lecture style kind of situations with their teacher, or they might also prefer to say it themselves. They're verbal kids. These are your kids who, your verbal kid is the kid who tends to talk a lot. And you're just like, oh my gosh, child, are you ever going to stop talking? But they have to process information by talking, by hearing themselves say it. So for these kids, they often, if they hear it too, they're auditory learners. And I am not that. That's not the good one for me. But if you have a child like that, a great thing to do is to have them either teach, the dog or the cat or the younger sibling or you while you're making dinner. They can say it out loud what they're trying to learn, or they could even make like a recording of themselves saying it, and then they could listen back to it. That would be a great way for them to learn information. If your child's more visual, they're going to want to see, tables and graphs and pictures, maybe words. Sometimes it's the visual can be the word thing. Or even like watching a YouTube video is a way for kids who are really more visual to learn. Your kinesthetic kid might like seeing things like a video, but they also like the actual movement. So as funny as it sounds, like having them do the hula hoop while practicing their multiplication tables, it's that movement that's going to help them remember and keep their brain stimulated to remember what they're actually doing. It sounds funny, I know, but it's true. You might be a person like, for me, I think I'm more kinesthetic than I realized I was as I've gotten older. And I love listening to like a podcast while I'm on a hike. I remember it so much better. If I just sit and listen to a podcast, I will not remember it. But if I'm doing something else that I enjoy, if I like to throw clay on a wheel. I have that in my garage. So if I'm doing that and I listen to a podcast, I totally remember it better. Or if I'm on a hike and I listen to a podcast, I totally remember it better. And that's because it's pulling in that kinesthetic, that movement piece. And so it's just something to become aware of for your child. So the way this works in when you're trying to actually apply it to your child, let's think about the multiplication tables. Okay, your child has to learn third grade. They learn their multiplication tables, and we know how important it is for them to get those facts down. If they don't have them, division's not going to make sense. 4th and 5th grade math is going to be really, and forever is going to be a struggle, to be honest with you. So you could start the normal way, which is just, flashcards or whatever. If the flashcards aren't really working, you might want to have them try something new. Maybe there's a song they can either make it up themselves, or maybe they can find, there is music on like YouTube and stuff with the times tables. Maybe there's a song they like that makes it more interesting to them and brings in another learning style. Maybe they can skip around the driveway and you can ask them questions. Maybe on a hike, while you're hiking, you can say, what's 5 times 3? And just get them thinking about it then. There's also something to be said for not just like taking one half an hour in the week and just practicing your multiplication tables. You're actually better off for them doing it, literally 3 to 5 minutes each day is going to help them remember it ultimately for a longer period of time, rather than just one section each week, if that makes sense. They call it spaced retrieval. And if you do something a little bit every single day, you're gonna ultimately remember it better in the long run. So think about ways you can try to incorporate different learning styles into whatever it is your child has to learn or memorize in school. When they get older, this is even more important because they'll have more tests to study for and stuff. But in elementary, things like sight words, multiplication facts, addition and subtraction facts as well. These are things that you'll want to, if you can make it like into a game somehow, that's the way they're going to remember it the best. All right, more to come. Thanks.